I am done with post-pontiff invasions, and the reason is fourfold. 4 reasons underlie my decision to be done with Gank City. Of these 4 reasons, I think that the distinct amplification, I suppose, of glitches as a part of the meta has played a significant impact on my dislike of 3 of them, but let's just start with the first one. First off, stronger gank squads. There's been a tangible uptick in the difficulty of invading post-pontiff in the last 6 months. Or at least I find it to be tangible. Why is this? Partially, it's because as time goes on, invaders more or less plateau in terms of skill, but because gankers tend to develop their skills more slowly because they're ganking, they continue to improve, albeit more slowly than they would be if they were invading. So over the last 6 months, many invaders have more or less stagnated or continued to stagnate in terms of spacing, reads, and all the basic skills involved in DS3 PvP. For instance, if I were to buy a PS4 Pro, that would improve my skills and win rate more than another 1,000 hours in this game on 30 frames per second. That's the level of plateau I've hit, but gankers have continued to grow. But this sort of invaders stagnate and gankers grow slowly duality has been at least somewhat true since 2017 when the Ringed City released, so what has changed in the last 6 months? Here's my theory. A sort of chicken-egg situation developed. Invaders started using glitches more heavily, giving them an advantage that the gank squads felt was unfair. It doesn't really matter whether you think that, the gank squads feeling that it was unfair was justified or not. At the end of the day, they felt it was unfair, and that's just how it is. Anyway, so that happened, and some gank squads also started using glitches more heavily, giving them an even bigger advantage over the invaders. The result was that many regular gankers quit, with the exception of the most hardcore of gank squads, and many regular invaders quit, with the exception of the most masochistic of invaders. And the regular gank squads that stayed around made adaptations of their own. They, learned to Estus cancel, started using the favor glitch if they hadn't already, they min-maxed a little bit more, they duped Seek Brows and Blessings. The regular invaders who stayed around made similar adaptations. The more invaders and gank squads alike played like there was absolutely nothing off limits when it came to pursuing the win, the more the people playing without glitches on both sides either lost and quit, having no interest in glitching to compete, or lost and decided nothing should be off limits for them either. Bow glitches, Estus refill glitches, non-downscaled phantoms, dragons wearing armor underneath, all of this just contributed to the toughening of gank squads and the invaders who invaded them. Ganks felt it was necessary to min-max their playstyles and builds even further to compete with the invaders who were doing the exact same thing. It's a complete arms race. As time goes on, the number of ganker phantoms who will be a soul level 802 full Havel dragon hard swapping to Gundyrs on wake up, doing the favor glitch to run away, Estus canceling, drinking Siegs like nothing, will only continue to increase. And then, as Saint Riot would put it, these glitches will truly have expanded the meta. Expanded not the depth of the meta, perhaps, but certainly expanded the number of people using every tactic available to them under the sun. Reason number 2. Worse co-invaders. Like I've said, the polarizing nature of the glitches and the increasingly hardcore nature of gank squads made many of the best invaders quit. People who had gotten really, really good at the game had to deal with the release of quote-unquote tech that just made gank squads harder to kill unless you also use it yourself, and also made the game's depth even more superficial. I know personally many invaders who decided that in the era of what many people were already calling a dead game, this was a killing blow to the dying horse that was Dark Souls 3 for them. So if many good invaders quit, who are the people you get as co-invaders post-pontiff nowadays? My guess is random Aldrich Faithfuls, people who picked it up on sale a week ago and got told by Reddit they should invade soul level 125 post-pontiff to start because Reddit is too dominated by the PvP unsavvy hive mind. In short, enormously inexperienced players who will die to most murder squads that roam post-pontiff in less time than it took to say this sentence. Invading with such an increasing ratio of inexperienced teammates only makes the Gank City experience that so many already find frustrating even more so. Reason 3. What I call fake duels. I don't invade to duel. I will duel, though, especially if there's Estus involved. If I encounter a lone host, I'm not the type to complain about invading and getting an Estus duel instead of multiple players. Solo hosts are just part of the game now, and I view my job as an invader to be killing the host, regardless of, if they have phantoms or not. However, I don't invade looking for duels. But dueling, or at least some level of 1v1 engagement, has always been a part of post-pontiff. The early dueling community decided that the most active Covenant area in the game was optimal for fight clubs, for some poorly thought out reason. So it's not uncommon to invade dried finger fight clubs who for some reason are being hosted by an embered player, despite the fact that you can summon just as many reds if you're not embered. But beyond the fight clubs, post-pontiff invasions now have a much more duel-based fighting style than any other invasion zone in the game. It's gotten to the point for me where the improved range of the Pontiff Knight Curved Sword and Gale's Greatsword feels borderline mandatory in Gank City, but the damage of a Dark build feels more important in the Ringed City. It's not uncommon to 1v1 a Ganker host, while your teammates 1v1 their respective phantoms. Actually, that's an ideal situation for a team of invaders because we have friendly fire and our opponents don't. But this is what I call a fake duel. It's a duel where the host, having been able to pick their teammates, can play in such a way that all they need to do is not die. Whereas the invader needs to do a lot more than not die. They need to kill the host before their randomly selected and likely inexperienced partners bite the dust at the hands of the host's phantoms. That makes the safe bet for the host to play passively and forces the invader to play aggressively. And I am very, very tired of trying to force aggression in a game that rewards passivity so heavily. There's only so many times I can invade a severely latent phantom, watch them backroll forever through my Pontiff Knight Curved Sword while their teammates kill mine, get ganked, and die. Gankers have begun to realize this more than ever. Not many 1v1 encounters anymore are about winning the 1v1. At least not in post-pontiff. They're only about not losing the 1v1 until backup can arrive. And gankers are unfortunately now better than invaders on average at not losing the 1v1. Reason 4 are what I call real duels. There's a pretty reasonable population of Gank City that hosts Gank City, usually with a phantom or two. But they don't gank, they just, have Estus duels in the courtyard. I don't really think these people particularly cater to anybody who invades post-pontiff. Most people invade there to kill gankers, not duel, but, whatever. The people who host there tend to be pretty good players. I know several who are better than me. But during these Estus duels as of late, everybody Estus cancels. And as a person who has no interest in Estus canceling, I can't punish their Estus, but they can punish mine. One of the most valuable skills in Dark Souls 3 Invasions, the ability to punish Estus, has been completely negated. What Ouroboros said in 2016 has finally been proven to be true. By glitches, no less. So yeah, Estus canceling ruins these fights for me. I mean, I don't like duels much to begin with, and Estus canceling only makes them worse. Now, the logical thing to do would be to simply adapt to the current atmosphere of post-pontiff myself. Don't complain, just get good, right? Stock up on Seek Brows and Blessings, get that Parting Flame out, shove a short bow in my left hand, learn to Estus cancel reasonably consistently, spam that Ring of Favor +3. This would be a great way to make my win rate post-pontiff much better, and I've always preached adapting to the given situation in the past. I mean, this is basically what G9 has done, right? You'll notice that he really only started posting those deathless streams after all the glitches came out about 6 months ago. He's taken what the game has given him, glitches and all, and used them to increase his win rate rather than letting them hurt it. He's also a better player than I am, and has the very real advantage of a PS4 Pro, but I don't think the deathless streams would be nearly so possible if there were no glitches involved on his end. I'm honestly not trying to disparage the decision he's made to use everything at his disposal to win. In some ways I admire it, but it's not what I want to do. At the end of the day, the game would be less fun for me if I piled glitch use upon glitch use to win more consistently. And I feel that in 2020, glitch use is borderline mandatory for Gank City invaders. So instead of making the adaptation of using glitches more to win more, I'm making a different adaptation, permanently quitting post-pontiff for a scenario that I find more fun. Meta level Ring City, which might not be less toxic, but is certainly typically not a duel, real or fake, where glitching gank squads aren't nearly so common, and where the co-invaders are certainly better, and is above all more true to what I love about invasions and more fun for me. Thanks for watching, y'all.